Everyday superpower. We talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. All right. This is some food for thought. Yeah. I'm gonna step on a few toes with this one, no doubt. And honestly, I don't care because I'm not saying what you can and can't enjoy, but what I am saying is that pay attention to the dynamics of things. And if you're paying attention to this channel, you're gonna acknowledge, particular principles and particular baseline boundaries that we work within as humans, as both man and woman, and what could be deemed too far in the wrong direction, and how you need to reapply this and perceive, the world around us. It's all about the communication between one another. So, um, if I was to be bold, I'm gonna say she thinks you're a beta. She thinks you're weak because you are into sports. And when I say you're into sports, I mean you support a sports team. You don't necessarily perform sports, you don't play sports. But over here in England, people are football mad, right? People love football. People talk about football all day and night. Okay, so generally speaking, football is going to be the topic of discussion. But if you're in America per se, it's probably like the NBA, the NFL, all of this stuff, right? She thinks you're weak, and not only that, I think you're weak as well. And the populace generally, indirectly, unconsciously thinks you're weak as well. Okay, it doesn't emphasize positive qualities. And what do I mean by this? I mean, you are placing yourself in a position beneath these leaders. I mean, it's all bread and circuses anyway. You look at a football stadium and compare it to the Roman Colosseum, you'll see the exact same shape. The thing hasn't historically changed much at all. And they use that as a means of distraction from real issues of the time, the politics of the time, right? So as you go there celebrating your favorite team, they're taking away the rights of your kids and your family. So you're not serving purpose as a man, like in a deep esoteric historical rooted basis anyway, right? But you are there supporting other men who don't even acknowledge your existence. You are spending your money on them. You might go to the point where you put their name on the back of your shirt. It's a crazy situation. If you're not putting money on that situation, if you're not in the business of sports media or, coaching or to any degree involved within that field, it is nothing but a waste of time. Oh, well, it's entertainment and blah de blah. Yeah, so is Netflix. So is poisoning your mind with shite they force feed you. It's to the same degree. You don't own anything. You're not invested nothing into that other than the point that you give money to these strangers for the sake of doing nothing that amounts to nothing. And you garner satisfaction from that purely down to the fact that in a tribalistic sense, you can encounter and engage with other bums who are wasting their same weekend doing the same thing instead of creating and producing value. Well, what does that mean? I can't have fun and blah blah blah. I'm not saying you can't have entertainment, you can't have fun, you can't support a team, right? I'm just saying by default, you're placing yourself in hoe position. You are the hoe providing the finance, If anything, no, the footballers and the sports acts are the hoes. They're the one who sell you the product. You're a trick. You're the lowest on the tier, right? You're the trick giving your money to the hoes who are the performers, and they're owned by the pimps. These people who just own them straight up. If you're in America, you're in a deep situation because then that, if you look at who owns them teams and who participates in them teams, that's kind of crazy if you look at the basketball players, right? So you could be establishing and creating a future for yourself and for your kids of tomorrow and for the people of the world, right? You could be engaging in socially efficient and productive means, and instead what you're doing is escaping from your boring as hell slave-esque work week and distracting yourself through the acts of athletically successful men. It's nonsense. And in the same realm, I could say the same as watching snooker. I could say the same as watching weightlifting. I could say if there is no benefit to you, if you are not a performer, if you are not putting money on it, if you are not receiving or garnering any value from it aside from the fact that it's a distraction and it engages with you emotionally, it's a waste of time. I'm a guy who's into music, but even till this point, you get to an age where you become so busy and so absorbed in self-development because it works and you understand the value of developing momentum, that you feel that going and supporting someone or a band or an act that does not acknowledge your own existence is quite demeaning. It's devaluing. I'm gonna wear this band's image on my t-shirt. I'm gonna support them. They don't acknowledge who I am, and if they do acknowledge who I am still beneath their feet. You might say this is extreme, but if you want to talk about the concept of pimping and hoeing, you're not a pimp whatsoever. Don't call yourself that, because you're not. And to be a pimp doesn't mean to put a woman out on the street and act inappropriately and illegally. No, it's a position of hierarchy in the world that exists around us. In your corporate workplace, you're a pimp, you're a hoe, or you're a consumer, you're a trick. Which one are you? More than likely, you're only going to have one pimp out there. You're only going to have a council of pimps, and you're going to be the hoe, working for them, bringing daddy their money, and you get home and pay your family naff all. You provide your family naff all. You can get fired and lose your family and lose your life because they don't pay you enough to actually substantiate you leaving the place. They give you the position where they say, yeah, we'll pay you for your work with this nonsense money, with this monopoly money. We will pay you for your work, but we're not going to pay you enough to even have you consider leaving, because it's going to be a financial hellhole for you. Or if you move to the next group of pimps who are going to pay you 50 pence more, £1 more, good on you, but in the grand scheme of things, you've fallen into the trap, and your perspective is that of the world around you, the society of you, when we've got multi-million trillionaires out here in the world. Isn't that crazy? And we're worrying about £1 or £2 per hour. We need to broaden our horizons. And when you go into these workplaces, what do the men talk about? They talk about sports. Oh, did you watch the sports the other day? Instead of building and escaping and developing a brighter future for their child, if not children to come, if not selves in an egocentric, self-serving manner, which should be the case anyway. You come before everything because you are the light that guides. Instead of any of this, they're just coming in and building someone else's dream and then leaving and supporting someone else's dream. Isn't that insane? That's the truth of the matter. They come in, build somebody else's business and organization, leave, and provide and build somebody else's organization. It's okay to be a leader. You can't have war without soldiers. A general's not good without soldiers, right? You can be a soldier, but you're not going to be admirable. You're not going to be a leader. You're not going to be that man that woman obsesses over. Plain and simple. On that note, I'm signing out. Click like and subscribe. Peace.